I was asked to write a powerful piece on the issues that teens face. The issues teens face, man, if I even began to list all the issues and all the teens, it would no doubt make me sick, so what can I talk about? I could tell you all about an average black teen male who gets average grades and goes to CCC every once in a while with his family. He plays basketball and football and Call of Duty. He goes to McDonald's with his boys after school and always remembers to give his mama a kiss on the cheek when he gets home. I could tell you about how one day he took that one pull from that one joint and that one scythe because he was trying to mac with the girl across from him. And I could talk to you about how somehow that boy ended up roaming the street corners with his new team, pants sagging, bandana in his back pocket, and a belt nicely draped around his neck. I can tell you about how one day, the day that he got arrested, none of his bros were there to have his back. And I could tell you all about how he sat there wishing that it wasn't so hard to stay good, and thinking that he had let his mama down, that he turned out just like his pops, and that he ruined his life. It could have been so much better. What happened? But I could also tell you about that little suburban girl whose dad left her mom for a younger woman and whose mom left her sanity for a bottle of wine. I could tell you about how that girl in her young age, she was so naive that she thought it was completely appropriate for her mom's boy, who was a friend, to touch her there. And I can tell you all about how she dropped her pants for the first boy her own age to touch her there because that's just what she was taught to do. I can tell you about how she could never party without a few drinks or a couple lines because it made her feel less dirty, and besides, that's what mama does. I can talk to you about how she gave up her body to anybody who asked for it, and those who didn't ask for it got it anyway. I could talk to you about how on the day she found out she was pregnant, she sold her body for enough money to get an abortion and never looked back, because it was easier to kill herself slowly in a sea of booze and drugs than it was to admit that she had made a mistake. But what about the boy whose friendship with his boy space friend was leaving him longing for something more? Do you want to know about that? Because I can tell you about how he fought so hard to not look at other boys that way. I can talk to you about how he pretended to be a player because he was trying to change himself. I could talk to you about how he looked in the mirror and told himself that he was worthless because the Bible said that he was wrong. I could tell you about how his friends turned against him and they didn't even try to hide it. They were calling him faggot when he was walking down the hallway. And I can tell you about how he hated himself because his mama told him that the church claimed that the Bible told them that he was not worth being loved. And I can tell you about how on one fateful day with one last jump, he gave up his life because he wasn't worth it anyway. I was asked to write a powerful piece on the issues that teens face, so what could I talk about?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.